like to welcome everybody to our regular scheduled meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners this August 9th, 2016. We will have our Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Cynthia Ward and our invocation by Commissioner Doug Holberg.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join us in prayer. Father, we are here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Got a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Motion seconded by Mr. McLemore. All in favor signify by raising your hand. 3-6-0. All right, our first item under presentation and delegation recognized Tim Willis, Equipment Operator 3 with the Solid Waste Department as the July 2016 Strongest Link Award recipient. Phil Francis, Director of Central Services, will address.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. That's getting kind of loud. It's my honor to introduce Tim Willis. And Tim's one of our commercial drivers. He's been with us now, how many years? Too long, you think? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, he's been about 5.5 years with us. And one of the things I'd like to talk about and say how honored I am to present Tim is that lately, well, in the past 6 or 8 months, we've really had a staffing issue as far as being able to get people in. There just wasn't a lot of folks applying, and we got customers. This is an enterprise fund. We have customers we have to serve. It's not a matter of get to it when we can. We just have to get to it, and it's so competitive out there. And Tim's been, bounced back and forth, day shift, night shift, roll off, front load, let's see, whatever else. I think you get on the lawnmower probably if we asked you to. I appreciate it very much, but it's tough out there. It's really tough, especially when you got customers that depend on you, and we've got customers that know him by name, that ask for him by name to service them, and he has stepped up so much, and it's an honor to for you to allow me to work with you, and I really appreciate it very, very much. And keep up the good work is all I could say, and I really appreciate what you've done. Here's the thing. You want to say anything? Yeah, say something.
I just want to say thank y'all. It's been a challenge, trying to go back and forth from days to night, but I overcame it, and I just thanks for the appreciation. Thank y'all very much, and if I can help anyone, I do it, do so. So thank y'all.
Thank you. You got to wear that.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta hold my stomach in. Hold on. Also, on behalf of Rodney McCord, you will receive, this will be the first one given out. So all of the next year, hopefully, all of the strongest link will get something that says Griffin, Strongest Link, July 2016. And right there it says Tim Willis, EOC. Hey. Oh, shit. Wow. That's pretty good. Okay, so you gotta bring it to work with you. You can't wear the chain, but you can wear if anybody want one, of course, you can get it at Broadway Griffin.
You should have tracking devices in those. is what
Better
I
know
heard.
it.
So you can wear a big gun.
And once again, congratulations to Mr. Willis, former schoolmate of mine, Griffin High School class of 1987. But I'm 88, of course. But second item on the agenda, review financial reports for June 2016. Marcus Schwab will address.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
All right, we're looking at June financial statements. These are preliminary numbers. We're fairly good with these. We're still making some adjustments here to close out the books. Auditors will be here in September, and then we should have our audit somewhere about mid-October. So we'll look at the cash balance report and entertain any questions if you have any. Okay. Next item will be the local option sales tax report. This one here we've modified for this time around because we've added the 2016 or 2015 SPLOST numbers, and you'll see we showed the 121,000 coming in May, and we've booked 125,000 for June. We'll be amending the budget here in the next, either in the following meeting at the end of this month or in September. We will amend the 2016 budget and roll projects forward into 17, so you'll see some of these, the budget numbers adjust a little bit. Any other questions there? Okay. And last but not least, we'll look at the interim statement by fund. And this basically shows each fund, and the first few pages show the consolidation of the entire city's operation. Any questions there, revenue, expenditure-wise?
This includes the last property tax payment?
There would be an accrual for that, yes, sir.
It includes that, yeah.
Yes.
I know we just got ours.
Yeah, we would have, we backdated ours we did the accrual for June.
Yeah.
On the cash balance report, the OPEB fund showed that it was the same balance as the previous year. Is that just reserve money we're keeping, or is that got to be sent
Okay.
to?
The OPEB fund is under the new pronouncements. Several years ago, we moved money off to the custodian for the other post-employment benefits fund. The new pronouncements require that we show that cash on our books because it's technically our money. It's just a third-party administrator that's going to see to the administration of those funds. Now, the reason you see no change from last year to this year is because we've not moved money anymore. We're completely funded for the OPEB trust based on the actuarial results. So now we will this year begin a drawing down for the pay-go component for the retiree insurance and the other parts of the health insurance program that we pay for.
So it's not needed for the $859,000 is not needed for that fund at this point?
That stays there, yes.
Or that is part of?
That's part of that, yes, sir.
Okay.
No, we can't touch that for anything but the health side.
Any other questions?
None here.
Okay, thank you. I'll just stay here for the next
If you don't
item.
mind, if you don't mind. Item number 3, discuss 2016 city tax digest and millage rate. Administrative Services Director Marcus Schwab will address.
Okay, we have received our new digest for 2016. The numbers have changed a little bit this year to our favor. So the proposed millage rate is a reduction of a couple mills, 0.11 or whatever that was, 0.118 mils. It brings it down to 7.771. Based on the adjustments within the digest, it looks like that as long as we maintain a 95% collection rate, we should make those numbers. If the collection rate drifts south of there, then that will definitely put a squeeze play on the property tax revenue numbers and the collection and the cash coming
Give
in.
me that number again.
The numbers, hold on a second, I have that right here.
Which one? Which
The
number?
reduction
Which number you looking
one
for?
Is like
Point one one eight.
.118.
Rollback rate,
Okay.
so it'd be 7.771 rather than
That's it.
7.889. If you choose to roll it back.
Gotcha.
And the digest that we're going to publish, or we're thinking about publishing tomorrow, is, it shows the digest at, the gross digest at 581 million. The M&O, that's up roughly $14,000 there. And then the M&O exemptions decreased roughly $3 million from 42 to 39. So the rollback millage rate proposed is 7.771, and so it looks like that'll give us enough collections to cover our budget that we've prepared well in advance of these numbers coming out.
Anybody have any questions?
I'm good with the rollback.
Rollback's fine? Just a consensus? Okay. All right. Very good.
All right, thank
Any
you,
other
Mr.
questions?
Schwab.
Thank you.
At this time, the chairperson opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting the city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Is there anyone on my left that would like to address the board? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Jordan. I am so grateful. I haven't stood before this mic in a couple of years now.
Can I get your
But-
address, Mr. Jordan?
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me?
I just need your name and address, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Deborah Jordan. My address is 134 Waterford Way, here in Griffin, 30223.
Ready?
Oh, yeah, can I? I just want to say good evening again, and I thank you so much for all the support that all of you've given me. So many prayers that were sent up for me since my son was slain here 2 years ago. But I have spoke to the city manager, and he's helped out a lot. Even if I just want to say one thing, I thank so much, Mr. Kenny, that you allowed them to move my garbage can all the way from the back to the front, because it was not easy with me with a bad leg and a bad back, and I thank you for that. That's just one thing. I just want to say thank you for all the service that all of you have rendered to me. But I'm here tonight in regards to my son. I want to read this letter. The family of Officer Kevin D. Jordan respectfully requests that a street in Griffin, Georgia, be named in his honor. He was a man of integrity. He was loved and respected by fellow officers, police officers that is, and the citizens of Griffin, Georgia. Officer Jordan made the ultimate sacrifice while performing duties for the community that he loved. He fearlessly and passionately served the city of Griffin for 4 years. However, in the period of this time, the impact of his numerous contributions were simply remarkable. Officer Jordan was sorely missed by family and friends within the community. A street would be honored in his name, the life that he served, to remind the city of Griffin, never forget those who give their all for this city. Safety, the city's safety and security. I'm sorry, I'm blurring a bit, so please forgive me. Please recognize his life and legacy of this outstanding public servant with a street name in his honor. And I'm his mother, thanking you for myself and all of my children. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on my left that would like to come before the board? Please state your name and address for the minutes.
How y'all doing? Walter Dallas, 1210 Pleasant Avenue, Griffin, Georgia, 30223. I just I'd like to see have a resolution been made about that dumpster on, Pleasant Avenue.
Smith, do we have anything on it yet?
No, sir. Actually, I had both of these things in my comments to address later. I sent out a memo or an email a while back, and the responses I got were that the consensus were we were gonna ask the apartment owners to build a corral around it, in the place that it is now. So, I don't want them to build a corral around it and then we ask them to move it, because they'll have put that expense into the corral. But the few responses I got back was to leave it there and have them build a corral around it. I'm certainly open to the consensus of the board.
I drove around that complex as well as the one they've got, I think off 17th Street as well. And, I could not find a more suitable location for that. If they build a nice screened, gated dumpster there, to me, it may be the only viable option at this point. I was trying to find a different location that would be in a better view away from your property, but also where the trash truck could get in, so I didn't see another spot at this point in time, so staff probably has made the best recommendation at this point.
I think the best representation be put it back where it was. You would, like you said the last time, would you like for a dumpster sitting in front of your house when you get up in the morning?
Well, I've got 2 apartment complexes, and we've got a corral, a gate that wraps around the dumpster, so I mean, there's a way to aesthetically make it more.
Yeah, maybe the people where you have the apartments is better than people's coming through there throwing out trash.
I don't know, but.
Well, would it sit by my house like I asked
send someone
before?
through every day to clean my dumpsters every day, because it's just part of our,
Would it smell?
my responsibility and everything. But I feel for you, I just don't know if there's, personally, I don't know if there is a better or another location to put it at this time.
Back where it was.
I rode over there, and I'm still not sure. Louise Lane, Thompson Street is the one where Louise Lane runs.
At the road block, they blocked up the,
Is that where the gate
barricades
is down there at the end of it now?
is it Thompson? What's this?
Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson.
Thompson, Louise Lane goes up the hill, but
Mhm.
they blocked off, where the dumpster was is where they got the barricades at now.
Uh-huh. So whose property is that where it's gated off?
It's our property.
It's our property.
That's the right of way, street and right of way.
How did they get up there with the trash from the
They'd have to
apartment?
bring it back up through the back of the apartments, back up through there, and the dumpster was on our property. And they were illegally dumping then on our property. So that's why we asked the owners of the complex to find a place on their property that they could put it and be responsible for it.
Well, if they move it down there in the apartment, it'll be better for them. They want to come up the hill, stop on the hill, because people coming through there, when they come up the hill, they don't stop because they don't have a stop sign. They put that dumpster down there, all the truck had to do, go down there to the left, pick it up, dump it, bag out, and come on out.
I mean, at the direction of the board, I can mandate that the apartment owners make their parking lot, driveway, and everything conducive to the truck getting in there.
Where it's currently at, it's on their property
It's on their property.
It's on their property, so
Yes.
that's.
Okay, what we're saying is at the current time, then the city truck cannot get down and get out.
With the angle of the hill.
With the angle
Because
of
of
the
the angle
hill
of the property.
and the parking lot condition, it would destroy the parking lot.
It would destroy.
The asphalt would just.
The parking
it would
lot.
just chew it up.
It would chew up the asphalt because of the incline, and then what they have to turn around on and get back up that incline, that asphalt won't take the load of those trucks.
We
So
don't,
they
we,
would have to redo their parking lot.
we still have the trucks that would go around and pick up the smaller,
We have trucks that pick up individual containers.
Right.
Some of the smaller apartment complexes have individual like you have at your house. But we're talking about almost 60 apartments there, and if they each had a green container and a recycled container, you'd be hand picking up over 150 containers. I mean, that'd just be so labor intensive and require so much manpower. So I don't think that would be feasible.
I walked the whole property and tried to find the place, and I could not find it.
Well, it's destroying the integrity of our street, our property, where they come and throwing all that trash and garbage down that side. And all those animals coming around there now.
So where it was before, it didn't create a problem?
Not that I know of, because I never had to go around through there.
Well, it created a problem for that neighborhood, so, I mean, wherever we put it is gonna create a problem.
At
'Cause on
least you would
Thompson
dump it.
Street, it was a big problem.
Will it actually damage our trucks to go in and out of there?
That's probably a Mr. Francis question. If the,
Then we could be liable for damaging.
Commercial truck, it would not. A residential truck, like comes in front of your house, it would. The asphalt in that parking lot is an inch or less, and it's already broken up with the gravel and the aggregate coming through the ground now. And those trucks weigh 88,000 pounds. You go down through there with an 88,000-pound truck and make a hard left to where the suggestion to put the container is, and all of the asphalt will be torn up, it'll undermine the subgrade, and all the aggregate will be gone. The parking lot is a wreck now, for lack of better words, but a commercial truck that picks up a dumpster, yes. A residential truck, no.
Thank you.
The area that was complaining about the dumps over there the first time, I think the people that live over there is the ones that being released from prison and stuff now, just staying there. They like a homeless, for homeless peoples, right? Because I had talked to one of the employees over there, and he told me what it was. Because it used to be for residential, people just would rent the apartments at first, and then I think they changed them over.
We
That's
can't
a
discriminate against.
Yeah, that's a transitional
whether it's
housing
transitional or whether it's.
area,
Well,
but that doesn't have anything to do with the location of the dumpster.
Well, the company that owned it, they the one that was complaining about it, because the employee told me, he gave me his card. He said the company that I work for, they the one would complain about the dumpster down there. That's why they moved it.
But you understand that the city, we asked them to move it onto their property, where it should be. You understand that?
Yeah.
That it is on their property. If there's a problem for the trucks, it appears that probably the best thing that we will be able to do is have them to build a corral around it, monitor it, try to keep it clean. I mean, if we can't get the trucks down in there, I don't know any other solution. I've been down there myself and mulled it over and looked to see if there was anywhere else you could put it. But if it's on their property, I mean, the city and our code enforcement, we would just have to enforce keeping it clean, whether it's they put up a camera, something, to catch people who are violating by dumping there illegally. Same thing we have out at Carrington, where they built a corral around it, but they still come out and dump illegally, and it's right in front of somebody. I understand exactly. I wouldn't want it in front of my house. But if it's on their property, they are the property owners. They are responsible for the trash. It shouldn't be sitting on anyone else's property. So they should be responsible for it, and if anything should go wrong with it, then we'll penalize them.
Okay, another question. Okay, I've been there almost 25 years, and since 1992, and all of a sudden in 2016, then that's when they want to complain about it, sitting over there on Thompson Street.
If it's never too late to do what's right. If it was in the wrong place, it's in the wrong place. They discovered it. we're trying to correct it, trying to make it better. If it's on their property, I mean, we just gotta enforce our rules. If you see somebody out there dumping, call us, let us know, whatever we can do to help you. But if they put a dumpster on their property, I don't know much you can do except corral it, because we can't take the trucks down in there.
Corral not gonna do any good either. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Anyone else on my left? Is there anyone on my right would like to address the board? All right, no one on the right want to address the board. Moving right along to our consent agenda. We've had discussions about this in our last meeting, that we will take all of our consent agenda items with one vote, if it's okay, unless someone wants to pull one out. That's items 4 through...
I need to pull out the one about the minutes.
4 through 20. So we'll start with the one about the
Number
minutes.
4.
We'll do number 4 first, and then we'll do 5 through 20. Consider approval of minutes of the July 26, 2016 workshop and regular scheduled meeting of the Griffin Board of Commissioners.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve you want to take them one at a time? You need to do it that way?
Yeah.
We'll do
Take
the...
them all one at a time?
No.
Just 4?
We're gonna do we're doing 4, we're doing the workshop first. The minutes from the workshop. Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the workshop for the morning of July 26, 2016. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed?
Abstention.
And one abstention. All right, consider approval of minutes for the regular scheduled meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners, July 26, 2016.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ward. Any questions, concerns? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? And that'll be 6-0. Now, items 5 through 20.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just make a couple of points. One, all these vehicle purchases, these are all budgeted vehicle purchases. They all came in under budget, and we're only ordering them at this time for price concessions. We're not buying them all right now, but in order to meet price demands, we need to go ahead and PO them all, so I wanted to give you a heads up on that. Toward the end of the consent agenda are several surplus items. All the funds derived from the sale of those surplus items would go back into general fund, except I'm asking for the fire truck surplus funds to be reserved to go toward the purchase of the new fire truck and the new headquarters facility. Since we paid a little bit more for the land acquisition than we anticipated, I'd like to reserve or restrict the sale of the fire truck surplus to go back in that fund.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second by Ms. Ward. Motion by Mr. Holbert, second by Ms. Ward. Any questions, comments, concerns? Being none, we're going to approve items 5 through 20. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? Be 6-0. Moving now to our regular agenda. Item number 21, consider on first reading an ordinance amending the Code of Griffin at Chapter 42, Environment, Article 3, Soil Erosion and Sedimentation Control, by incorporating new provisions added to state law at the 2016 session of the General Assembly.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Holbert, second by Ms. Ward. Any questions or comments? Being none, all in favor signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? Be 6-0. Item number 22, consider on first reading an ordinance amending Chapter 78, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places of the Code of Griffin by enacting a new Article 5, Regulation of Timber Harvesting Activity.
Would you like an explanation?
Yes, please.
This is basically a law that was passed in 2012, and it gives the Georgia Forestry Commission the ability to issue permits for logging operations. It takes away cities and counties' authority, it preempts your local authority to deal with timber harvesting call it. It does have some provisions in it that would safeguard the streets and sidewalks if they, particularly in an urban setting inside the city, if we had maybe a fairly large acreage tract that had merchantable timber on it, the owner of that timber could come in and have it clear cut and would have to take certain precautions as far as the street and sidewalks. They may have to drive over with their trucks taking, the timber out. But that's really the extent of our authority today, but we've just not, incorporated this. Earlier, we kind of were hoping that maybe the legislature would look at it differently in the future and repeal it or something, but it doesn't look like they are, and we feel like we need to just get it in our code this time.
What does it take away from what we currently?
Well, right now, you've got mechanisms such as your zoning ordinance, tree ordinances, landscaping requirements that up until now you had been able to regulate somewhat these commercial cutting operations, particularly within cities. And this preempted that authority, so we don't have that authority anymore.
And GMA hasn't been aware of this or tried to?
Quite aware of it. They have been for several years now.
Nobody do them.
Nothing has come up.
We were trying to regulate the clear cutting and how they left the property after they got through harvesting, but apparently we're not able to do that.
We're seeing more and more preemption. Kenny and I have talked about it, Brant and I have talked about it, and I think it's the way you're going to see things go. Going back to the adoption of the current Georgia Constitution in 1983, about the early 90s, about 10 years after, in 1993, the Supreme Court came out with a major case involving Franklin County and its limitation on the disposal of sewer sludge, whatnot, from being preempted by state law under the Uniformity Clause. And basically what the object of the Constitution is for the law to be the same throughout Georgia and not have local deviations from city to county to county as you go along. So that's the direction we're heading in. Pretty soon it may be that you have basically a zoning ordinance and very few other local regulations.
Make a motion to approve the changes.
Second.
Had a motion by Mr. Holbert, second by Mr. Brock. Any questions, comments? Being none, all in favor signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? Be 6-0. Item number 23, consider a declaration of excess power and draft power sales agreement for excess power sale consisting of 5.479 MW for an 8-year term through MEAG to the city of Robertsdale, Alabama. This contract term is from January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2025.
Make a motion we approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Brock, second by Ms. Ward for approval. Any questions, concerns, comments?
Just a comment. It's profitable for the city of Griffin. Very profitable for the city of Griffin. We don't know the total outcome, but it's gonna be more than $1 million. It'll be considerably more than that probably at the end of the contract, but it's something that we certainly shouldn't turn down.
Any more comments? Being none, all in favor signify by raising your right hand. Any opposed? Be 6-0. Item number 24, consider approval of updated City of Griffin Customer Service Policy Manual. Electric Director, Mr. Dan Thompson, will address.
Morris said just say no.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hope everybody is well. Thanks again for reviewing the customer service manual that has been out of date for some time. We made the additions and corrections based on our conversation last week. And if there's no further questions, then I'd like to thank Ms. Laura Stewart, our customer service manager, and staff that dedicated a lot of time and energy to it. We're very proud of it, and thank you for your support. And if we can answer any questions, please let us know.
Have any questions, anyone? Question?
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Holbert, seconded by Ms. Ward, for approval. Any questions, comments, concerns? Being none, all in favor signify by raising your right hand. And it's 6-0. Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Good job.
All right, I think that's all of our agenda items. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, we have gotten bids in on the fire station and on Historic City Hall. We're reviewing those bids, negotiating, with the top bidders, and should have those bids on the agenda for you at the next meeting. Probably talk about them at the workshop, give you some scope of work, and, talk about those bids at the workshop and hopefully approve those so we can get to work on that. The county has reported that in June, they got $737,000 with an estimate of $700,000 a month. In 3 months, collections are over $2 million, so we're just about $80,000 short in SPLOST for a 3-month period, so we're not doing too bad. Last meeting, we had a request for restrooms at Raymond Head Park. Dr. Keller's done some research into what it would take to build some restrooms that would fit into that park, as well as getting water and sewer to those restrooms. And we're looking at about $100,000 for the total project. We don't have that budgeted, so I didn't know what your pleasure was there, but we did look into that to give you a ballpark of what we'd be talking about, and know if you wanted to put it off till next year or rearrange things, or how you wanted to handle it.
I think that would be a good workshop item. I think it's something that's definitely needed at that park. We got them at the other parks, and we got people out there walking, having events out there. I think it's something that we need to look into.
Okay, talk about it at a workshop?
Sounds
Yes, sir.
good.
Can you send the, kind of the design and everything over?
Would it be similar to the one that they have at City Park?
I mean, we can, if we come to a workshop, we can throw you up some designs. That's just kind of an off-the-cuff that would run in the $100,000 range. We're looking at split-face block. I mean, it's not anything that would be too cheap. I mean, it's a good, solid building that would hold up less
I had in
maintenance.
mind what they got out at,
Tice
Park.
Be something similar to that. Something that would hold up. We talked about the corral. I had on my list too the request from the Jordan family. I sent a memo out to the commission with some suggestions. Also, I talked to the Department of Transportation on how we could just put up an honorarium. If you've noticed, sometimes you'll see on state highways where they have them dedicated to troopers and things like that. And the DOT told me that in order to do that, which would not change the name of a street or a road, where you'd have to get address changes and all that made, but an honorarium would actually have to go through the legislature, that you contact your local legislator and he would put it through as a bill and get it approved, the governor's signature, and that way it would be a DOT honorarium. That would take some time, obviously, because the legislature's not in session until first of the year, and by the time it got to the governor. But that's something that they said that they would be glad to assist us with if we wanted to go that route rather than a complete street name change. But whatever the consensus of the board is, we'll be glad to look further into that, or
We can add that to the workshop too.
another workshop item. Okay? And we're in the process of closing on properties on North Hill Street in preparation for intersection number 2. Intersection number 1, as you can see, is coming along good. And this week, we'll be closing on our first piece of property on intersection number 2 and get to moving on that. And that's everything I have.
Mr. Whalen?
Nothing further.
Mr. Holbert?
Just want to commend the DDA and Kenwood on the wrapping of the silver boxes. My cousin was down for a family reunion this weekend, and she's an artist type person from Decatur. And the first thing she noticed driving to Griffin was these boxes and how Griffin was stepping outside the zone of creativity. So just want to praise the DDA. I've heard great compliments
Mr. Brock.
Got two comments. First of all, you notice we got an empty seat over here tonight, Ray's normally in this chair. And we have a new person with us tonight from the Griffin Daily News. Karen is saying, don't introduce me. But Karen Gunnels is a new representative from the city, and I'm guessing she's a fill-in tonight. I guess she's not gonna be our permanent, which we can have either way. But welcome to you. If you have any questions of us, please come forward and ask, please.
And Larry he doesn't bite too hard, so you can always.
Yeah, and you can sit beside Larry if you want to. Yeah,
No comment.
That is, Mr.
that's it, that's good.
Once again, we, had a celebration for Salam Seafood this past Saturday, 30 years in business. Mr. Amin, of course, is an excellent citizen here in our community. Just a real good celebration. People in the community got a chance to come out and just had a great time. It was a Chamber of Commerce Day, beautiful weather, beautiful people. So with that being said, that's all that I have. I entertain a motion.